Sure.
But from that, we have a unified system, which is the Supreme Court. And then at that time, we didn't have an appellate court or a family court. Can you believe that?
No.
We did not. So we got the Supreme Court. Now, we had the Supreme Court.
Right.
But we did not have an appellate court. And the appellate court is the court between the circuit court and the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have the Supreme Court, appellate court, and a circuit court, family court judges. And, of course, it goes on down to the solicitors and the magistrates.
And a lot of folks that are held accountable now.
Yeah. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best in the country.
So to think about that, and am I correct, Lois, that that strong senator gentleman had a good friend who you actually ran against back in the mid-'70s?
And they didn't particularly like it.
I'm sure they didn't. That must have been a tough thing. I remember you sharing with viewers when you were with us a couple of years ago at the Herald offices there and the former at the TV station about that idea that they really impacted your business even, Lois.
They sure did.
Surely put a hurting on your business.
Took the business away from us.
Which is something that I guess some elected officials have to think about when they're going to step out. Is it a right time? Is it good timing? Is this something that I can afford? Do I have time to go out and run for office?
Situations come up just last week, and somebody was telling me, well, can you do this or that? I said, well, first of all, I will tell the truth. I'm not going to do anything that's dishonest. But what I always have tried to do is to do what was right. And when you do what is right and you search your heart, in the end it will turn out okay.
Yes. Lois, speaking of that, I think you just shared with me that you have committed again to be the chair of the chef's auction.
Yes,
is that correct?
I have.
Is that something you're making public, or am
I am making it public, and because I want you to be right in there with me. If you're not going to be with me in there, I cannot be the chairman.
Oh wow, well, that's dangerous talk. You're catching me on. Donald, can you edit that out? Yeah, can we get that out? That sounds a little rough.
No, you've always been with us, and we appreciate you so much.
The chef's auction, Jim Feldman got me involved 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago, just to sponsor the tickets. And so I used to get the Fox logo on the back of tickets, and then I got that for a couple of years. Then Jamie Prosser got involved.
Yes, I remember
she
Jamie.
wrote
She
me
did
in
one
on
for
another
John.
table sponsorship. But she was the chair in the past, I think.
Yes, she was.
I think Luke Christy Rankin had done it at one time in the past, years ago. There have been a lot of great chairs, but you've been chairing that for what, 3 or 4 years?
3 years, and this year will be 4th year.
Is that right? Golly,
It
Lois.
goes by fast, doesn't
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's a fun. I enjoy it because it's a fun. Well, number one, it's for a good cause. It's for the mission, saving babies, is just dear to my heart, and I believe that's close to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because he says, told him, suffer the little children come unto me, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And it's a good cause, and I like their mission. I like the way they spend their money. 90% of it goes back into the programs, research and all, but I love the people. It still goes back to the people. We have such a wonderful group of people who come and support us at the chef's auction. It's a lot of fun. We have it's great. Good food, very
Absolutely. And Joe Fisher was with us yesterday on the show.
And
of course, I think on Wednesday you all had a board meeting. Kathy Douglas and Holly Hayes were in town, and of course that was exciting.
Yeah, she is. Of course, Kathy is a chairman over all
statewide. The big dog. I mean, the big person.
The big dog.
The big something. The big dog. That's right. She is the big dog, and with a long career in service. And at one time, she was fighting the number 1 and number 3 killers. She used to be involved with the Heart Association down in Charleston, and now is doing great gangbusters with that position over the state for the March of Dimes.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Greg? I have been involved in March of Dimes since the '60s.
No.
We used to have the walk. Yes, whenever we used to have the Mother's Walk. I remember.
That right?
And I lived in Sumter.
Right.
And I organized all of Sumter for the Mother's Walk, getting a mother on each block.
I
take
did
that
not know
block.
that.
Yes, and so I've been involved with March of Dimes for a long time.
I should have talked to Joe about that yesterday morning, because particularly since she's got family there in Sumter. Yeah, she probably forgot about it. I'll let you tell her that.
I'll do
That's
that.
right. We saw her husband recently.
Yeah.
We think about recently. We've been hearing a lot about boats, and of course we used to hear a lot about license plates. And it's fascinating. I visited the county's website, or your website, on I think it's at OrryCounty.org.
Yes, it is.
And of course the auditor's page is on there, and I think I printed it out as 5, 6, 7 pages, and has a lot of frequently asked questions.
Yes.
If a viewer was interested in learning more about the auditor's office and they did not have internet access, what's the best way that a viewer is, you've got some locations other than Conway, but is there a common phone number that someone could call?
You can call 444
Okay.
6144.
Okay.
If you can remember 4, you got it.
Yeah, 843-444-6144.
That's right.
Okay.
That's one, and then the one in Conway is 915-5050.
Oh, another easy number,
Yeah.
915-5050. I better write that down, 915-5050.
And we'll be glad to send you some information. Or, Greg, there was a gentleman in my office last week, and he would have qualified for homestead exemption 3 years ago, never applied.
Right.
And people don't realize that they can do. I mean, they can. There are breaks they can get, and they don't have it. One lady, elderly lady, came in. She was paying 6%. It was her own home, and she could qualify for the 4%.
Wow.
So I've always said that if you have a question about your taxes and you don't ask it, then you're silly.
Oh,
because and it's never ever a stupid question. Not when it comes to your tax, to your money,
That's a great point. I saw a frequently asked question on there that I bet a lot of folks ask, where they say, I was at a car dealership and they told me my taxes were covered.
You have hit a good
and
point
that was a
right
great,
there.
and the answer was something that I'm sure a lot of folks don't think. I won't answer it for you. Share with
It
viewers.
says that whenever you buy a new car or you buy a car, they'll say, "Oh, don't worry, your taxes have been paid." They're talking about your sales tax, that $300 that they send to the state. That does not include your personal property taxes.
Right.
Because whenever you buy that car, they're going to send us a copy of that dealer affidavit. And then from that, we make a bill, and you'll get a tax notice for personal property. And then you'll say, "Well, what is this? They told me my taxes were paid," So it's a lot of questions, and it is confusing.
Right.
I get confused sometimes myself, and so
we
it
caught
is.
her on air on that, yeah.
And but it's worth it. Now, in the past, Greg, I have had numerous, and I believe in this so much, public meetings,
Right.
And
all over sure.
I've
4
done
offices
that, yes.
countywide. I'm sure you do.
Yeah. But it's amazing when you have it. Maybe you might have 4 or 5 or 6 show up. People
Really?
Yeah. They're not that many people show up unless, and then many times they don't come in until it's been called to their attention. My
Right.
goodness, you have been paying this for the last 4 years.
And fines
yeah.
and penalties. Sure. That's when it brings.
And then that's whenever they come in. So I'm gonna, I'll probably in the near future we'll be having some more of these.
We just got a couple of minutes, but a lot of folks have been hearing recently about boats.
Oh,
What's
Lord.
going on with boats?
Yes.
And a lot of
my
viewers may not
goodness
own
gracious,
boats.
We've
but
been having boats. 12 years ago, I went to the House of Representatives and testified that we needed to do something about the taxes on boats.
Right.
It was 10.5% now, personal property taxes on boats.
That's crazy.
Well, so we have really worked hard, and then I've had a group of citizens who was headed up by
Right.
Paul Soucy.
Right. Paul Soucy.
Soucy.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
name I heard out of your office.
Yes, and he worked so hard. He kept up with the committees. He kept up with the senators, the House members, and just the progress of the bill. Well, the bill passed the House 3 times to lower it to 6%. That was sort of in competition with North Carolina again. It's
yeah.
4%.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we finally, the legislature in the Senate and the House, they passed a bill. But the thing about it is, it's a terrible bill. It was a terrible bill because it only gave 10.5% for one segment of boats, and you still had to, and 6% for another. But that would have been a nightmare for it. You can imagine we have over 25,000 boats in this county.
In Horry County,
Yes,
I did not
yes.
know that. Wow.
So what the county council did, when I am so proud of them, they amended the state law to say all boats in Horry County will be charged at 6%.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Now,
Yeah.
the question to you is this: will somebody challenge it? And I hope they do, because I do not believe that there will be a judge that says you can discriminate upon this group and this group. You mean to tell me this group over here, you can say, I'm going to charge you 10.5% on your boat? This man over here that paid the same thing on it, I'm going to charge you, 6. You just can't. It's just confusing. But anyway, we got down to 6% now, and we're sending the bills out the first of the year for 6% on all boats.
Lois, we just got a minute. I wanted to say, what about that time? When was it that you first recognized that women could do anything a man could do?
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Way back there, whenever whenever my mother, when I was in the 10th grade, whenever my mother went to school and told the principal, Lois has to quit school and go to work because there's nobody in our family working. So I found out then that a woman could do about as good anything a man could do. I have never ever had a problem in being a woman in anything that I wanted to do. It goes back to attitude, the ability to get along, and the ability to communicate. And if you cannot have the right attitude, and you cannot communicate, and you cannot get along with people, and if you don't love people, then you're not going to get the job done whether you're a man or a woman.
Those are great words. Thanks so much
Yes,
for being with
I'm
us
glad
this
you
morning,
love
Your
me.
Honor. Absolutely. Loved by many. I'm not the only. I'm not the only one.
Oh.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Dr. Lois Eargle coming up. So those critical points early in life. Think about that in 10th grade when their mother came to talk to the teachers about pulling her off so she could go, as she talked about off camera, to work at a five and dime store. That opportunity at an early age set the stage for 30 years as an elected or appointed official. 30 years serving people. And even her peers, the South Carolina Association of Countywide Elected Executives. It's a big deal to think about, not only recognized by her peers, but by the people of Horry County, and even at an early age by her mother to come and help the family. She's an amazing woman. Check her out at the office. Call over there. Number's easy, 915-5050. Give her a call.